Oh,
Okay.
got myself.
Oh no, it's splashy, Chris. Did it get splashy over there?
Yeah, smashed myself. Oh well.
Oh no.
Oh well.
Okay.
That's
Well, we were just saying that you've got a juicy IPA on your hands. I have a strawberry wine margarita. I don't know how that works, but it tastes good.
Rita.
Botarita, yeah. It's like one of the box wines like Franzia. Some people have some great stories about these from college, but in college I barely drank. I was I don't know.
Yeah, you had a Shirley Temple that one time probably, and then
I had a
slept in the whole next day.
I had a strawberry daiquiri on my 21st birthday. And then, my dad bought me some these little, every once in a while, these like $1 little like nip bottles of chocolate liqueur. And
Oh.
sometimes I would put them and make like a chocolate milk. And I would drink a quarter of it.
Lord.
No, I drink way more now than I used to.
Terrible.
I know, I do appreciate the bevs though now. I really do. More than I ever have, Chris.
Look who's on board here. We got Mr. PJC.
Oh my God. It is our friend, Philip J. Curtis, aka the Midnight Poet. Hey, Phil. I would say hello. It would be rude to interrupt. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm just like a constant stream of talking. Don't worry at all. Jump right in.
Hey, I want to point out that it's Oscars night, but
Oh,
one of those things, Schmoskers.
Oscars.
Because we've got award-winning style poets on tonight.
Totally.
And, to heck with the Oscars. We got our red carpet going. And
who even has like cable anymore? I mean, I'm sure it's streaming, but
I mean, you can't watch it unless you get some kind of cable deal. So
I think that's the case. Yeah, it was so hard. Every New Year's Eve, it's so challenging to find like just that NBC ball drop moment.
Yeah.
I have to like find like 3 different services to pay. I always wait till the last minute. It's very stressful.
I don't know why they don't just put it out there. I mean, they're going to have commercials anyway, so just let us watch it.
I know, right? Oh, mom and dad are out there. I believe Aunt Christine is also with them. Mom, dad, and Aunt Christine. Oh, look at this. Look at this beautiful comment from Midnight. I watched Little White Lie on Friday. Yeah, Chris. Chris will be at the Oscars next year.
Great. Best performance with a ukulele.
Exactly, Chris.
I think there's very little competition for that, so I might win.
Yeah, exactly.
I appreciate Midnight that you watched it. God bless your heart.
Yes, thank you so much to all of our friends out there for all of the encouragement, all of the support, for coming out to see Little White Lie, the movie based on Chris's book Shriver, and for having so much fun with us, for sharing beautiful, happy comments. We also have some other very fun news that our Fairfield Book Prize finalists came out. We've had some wonderful people on the show who are finalists, and I am also one of them.
And yes, let's not leave that out.
Can't leave that out. So
cheers to Katie the Schneiderator, whose book of poems is nominated and a finalist for the Fairfield Book Prize.
Thank you, Chris. My margarita and my penguin mug.
There you go.
Interesting faces over here. And big, huge congratulations to all of our friends who are finalists. We can't wait to hear you read from your work. When we have those finalist readings coming up in June. So stay tuned, peeps. Thank you so much for all the congratulations, all the kind and supportive messages to Chris and myself. Thank you to everyone who just started following us because of all this fun stuff as well. It's 8 o'clock. It's time for the official welcome to, to FUMFA 122. Tonight, we have two incredible poets with us. We're going to be welcoming M.A. Dennis, who you may have seen in the chat, just being awesome and very supportive, asking great questions. And also an awesome local poet in Connecticut, Sharmont Influence Little. It's going to be an incredible night of poetry. And so that will be coming up shortly. But Chris, tell our audience what they can look forward to from us online and in person in these next few weeks.
All right. Well, next week we will be right here at the same bat time and the same bat channel. And we're going to have with us Taqwa Sharif and Shannon Clark. It's going to be an amazing night. And then the following weekend, we are returning live in person to Eco Evolution on Friday, the 24th of March. And we're going to have a whole bunch of awesome people. We already have a whole slew of people lined up who have signed up to participate with that. And we also have some great featured readers and performers, including Amanda Parrish Morgan, Dre Toey, Dusty Noval, and we're going to have many other people joining us on that night. Again, that's the 24th. That's Friday. So yeah. we will not be here on that Sunday, but we will return the following Sunday, April 2nd, because that will be our third anniversary. Can you believe that?
3 years, peeps.
3 years of this thing going on. Katie and I have been doing this, and we are going to celebrate that with a special reading featuring yours truly and book prize nominee, the Schneider on 2 right here. So, and then beyond that, we got Easter, and then we got a whole bunch of other stuff going on.
We got a whole bunch of other great stuff coming up, and we also are going to be part of some events that are coming up. We'll make sure to let you know about that. But come out to that in-person open mic, sign up if you want to. But if nothing else, please get down there. It's such an incredible night of creative community. Lots of awesome writers and poets, and also musicians, comedians, and our favorite parlor trick guy, Zach. So it's always a great time. We hope that if you're in commutable distance, that hopefully you can make it down. We already have a whole bunch of signups, including Sandy Carlson in the chat. Hey, Sandy.
That's right. She's going to be there, and it's just turning out to be some like regulars who just show up and they deliver some cool stuff, and I love when that happens at open mics. So it's going to be great.
Oh, same. It's always so much fun. And if you are interested in being, of course, you can sign up anytime. Please do. Please sign up. Please attend anytime. But if you would be interested in being an in-person feature on the show, on our in-person open mic, please do let us know. Or if you have a project coming up and you would love to read online, let us know about that as well. We're so lucky to have such a fabulous community of people, and even though we weren't online, which is, where this all started, we felt so much love in person, at our most recent open mic, and also this last weekend at movie weekend. Our 3 days of movie watching. So that really means a lot to us. We love all of you too, and it brings us so much joy to have this incredible community of peeps. Right, Chris?
Absolutely.
Did you feel the time change today? Did you notice? Did you have any? I
definitely noticed. I slept like weirdly late because it was later than it was supposed to. And the sun was like, I don't know where it was such a strange thing.
It's always disorienting.
I'm so thrown off, but I spend most of my life thrown off, so it's not,
it's the usual. Well, and Frankie had her play this weekend. Congrats, Frankie.
Yep, she was amazing, and they're doing it again next weekend, and so they're halfway through, and these kids, I tell you, these high school kids, they
Oh,
really
great
come
job.
together and do an amazing job. They're doing Into the Woods. Stephen Sondheim. This is not, you know,
I love Into the Woods.
this is not easy stuff that they're doing. It's challenging, and they're pretty amazing. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
I love that. Well, big congratulations to her. It is 8:05. It is time to get started with our readings for the evening. I am super excited to welcome M.A. Dennis. Hey, M.A.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, Emma, we feel like we've really gotten to know you these past few weeks. We've seen you in the stream, in the chat, and we just love your encouragement and support for us and for authors. So it's the best to get to feature you tonight.
Thank you so much. It's an honor.
Absolutely. All right. I'm going to introduce you with your bio. M.A. Dennis contains multitudes. The initials M.A. stand for many attitudes of not Massachusetts. Johns Hopkins University Press blog describes his poetry as hilarious, but also heartbreaking. He's a published author and holds a journalism degree from St. John's University. Dennis, who is formerly homeless, writes and speaks about issues involving homelessness and housing advocacy. He currently lives in Staten Island with his 3 pet rocks, Chris, Fraggle, and Gibraltar. But I think there's a 4th now, isn't there, Emma?
4th, yes, Plymouth.
Plymouth! I love that. That's great. All right, we're looking forward to hearing you read, M.A. Take it away.
Poetry, slam. Poetry, slam. Poetry, slam. Sometimes I sit down to type poetry, and all I want to do is slam my fist into the computer. I'm haunted by dead people. I see ghosts in the keyboard. I'm haunted by the never made it home keys, letters which make a motherboard weep. ASDF spacebar, JKL semicolon, Ayana, Sean, Dante, Floyd, spacebar, Jefferson, Kager, loop, semicolon, Amadou, Sandra, Du Bois, Freddie, spacebar, Gene, Keenan, loop, semicolon, Akai, Sterling, Dorsey, Francis, spacebar, Jalen, Kemp, loop, semicolon, question mark. How many times has ampersand fit the description of an 8 and gotten tased or pepper sprayed? Exclamation, no knock, disturbs the peaceful sleep of my inner 26-year-old EMT. Enormous mental toll. QWERTY triggers a breakdown. Quanice, Wade, Eric, Rakia, tomorrow, yesterday. Repeat, 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 repeat. Control, alt, right, delete, 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 delete. What you see isn't what you get when you dig deep enough to uncover the cover-up numerals behind obscured badges, symbols offered as condolences can only console, but so much I slammed the laptop shut. No poetry today. No just released video footage on a continuous news loop today. Only rage, no conversation. Even if I'm standing by the water cooler, no light banter, heavy thoughts dense like mercury, overnight flow in my eye. Who screenshot you? I have Philando Tamar stress disorder. No escape ski. Every step forward we enter, followed by 2 backspace back. Don't at me unless there's a paradigm shift. F this system for failure to function. Time to settle the tab for all the times deadly force was never caught on a body cam. For all the times a minor traffic stop ended with bullet points, even with a minor in the back seat. Error, claiming to have struck power off by mistake, intentionally fabricating incident reports. This is my official statement. I dream of hash browns, then wake up to hashtags. The ultimate cancel culture is playing itself out on the keys. Florida is where keyboards go to die and get refurbished, minus the ability to type WOKE, the never made it home keys, the letters which make a motherboard weep. Oh, how it saddens me. I want to do poetry. But all I can do is slam my fists into the same wall I slammed my head into, because this is the way I calm myself down enough to sit down in front of a keyboard and write a poem in which nobody dies. If reincarnation is real, I want to return to this world as a girl. And not some Gwen Stefani-like one, no doubt. I want to come back as more than just a girl. I want to be reincarnated as a woman who men constantly refer to as girl. I want to re-enter this bitch with a DJ in the delivery room, rocking on the ones and twos, playing Queen Latifah's UNITY. If reincarnation is real, I want my next life to go down smooth like Sunday brunch Bellinis, less catcalling on the street, less sexual harassment at work. And if I die while giving birth or getting a back alley abortion, I want to be buried with my pepper spray, just in case heaven is part of the patriarchy. If reincarnation is real, I want to come back as a trinity: Nina Simone, Audre Lorde, and Betty White. I want to come back and remember that I was here before. I want to carry all my past lives in an oversized purse that feels heavy no matter how light I try to make it. I want to return with an explanation for why. Chapstick, keys, wallet, lipstick, a makeup compact, one tampon, and an iPhone charger all add up to a 10-pound Planet Fitness kettlebell. I want to come back to a judgment-free zone. I want to be reincarnated with the right to not have anyone touch my hair. And if I'm killed for having my hair improperly covered, I want to come back Magneto-like. All the bullets fired at me while I'm asleep will ricochet back. I will not come back as some Jesus Gets Us ad campaign. If reincarnation is real, I will return to this world like a revelation, a second coming of Christ. I will see section the sky. I want to come back as fire, no earth, no wind, just fire. A dream, gray, dark phoenix. I want to re-enter society with a gun. A gun that can control all other guns, a gun that can make a school shooter's gun shoot free school lunch meal tickets, a gun that the NRA will do everything in its power to ban by lobbying for gun that can control guns, gun control. I want my next life to have magic. Bring me back as a lesbian. I will wage a war against homophobia. I declare war. I will whip the Bible belt with the buckle end of a belt and dare them to call the police. And I will not go quietly into any holding cell. I will not expire suspiciously. I know God works in mysterious ways, but I've been killed mysteriously in a myriad of ways that are downright ridiculous. Bring me back, buried under rubble. Bring me back with a rose. Bring me back with the courage to fight back. Bring me back with the power to fight the power. Bring me back as a handmaid with Wolverine claws, with the idiom, don't let the bastards grind you down, carved into my own flesh. Bring me back to sever the hold of my oppressors, because if reincarnation is real, I cannot continue to keep living and dying like this. This next poem was inspired by a Facebook Messenger message I received from Katie. Rockstar poets. Rock on with your bad self in triplicate. Rock, 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 nonstop around the clock, like you've been imbibing a never-ending energy drink. Rockstar, be careful. Red Bull gives you wings, and too much caffeine makes one become Icarus. But At least you will go out blazing. Glory be to the rock stars of poetry, to the ones who grew up on Schoolhouse Rock to Prison Pipeline, jailhouse rock victims of Bill Clinton playing saxophone on the Arsenio Hall show, singing, I'm just a crime bill on Capitol Hill. I'm just racism in the form of federal legislation. I'm unjust incarceration for decades. If the inner city was in possession of a few crack rocks, I locked them up and threw away the keys. However, if the suburbs got caught with kilos of pure white, I showed leniency. But even unfair sentences could not stop rock star poets from meticulously crafting sentences. Even in the pen, their pen was that of a ready writer, speaking the tongue of liberation, weighing words on the scales of poetic justice. When Judgment Day comes, I hope people of color will receive a fair trial. Whether doing time behind bars or spending time in bars or spitting bars at the open mic, rock star poets will give you maximum effort in exchange for your 2-drink minimum. Rock star poets will give you that punk rock poetry, poems that rock the Casbah, poems that rock steady, be they whispers of a sunrise scribe or the scream of an artist who's sensitive about their shit. Refusing to ride gently into the sunset, rock star poets perform miraculous poems of praise, odes that make a third eye blind see and move audiences like a rock on Resurrection Sunday. Rock star poets will make your soul jump into the mosh pit. Billy Idle hands may do the devil's work if you play the record in reverse, but this poetry rocks differently. The flow is progressive. Name your tool. Sonnets, sestinas, haiku, rock, paper, scissors. I, the consummate poet, always choose paper. Paper is the only place in America where the oppressed can go and truly be free. Maybe that's why certain poets rebel against poetic forms. Free verse makes us feel as close to free as we can be. Rock, paper, scissors. Only one of those things can always defeat rock. Chris, Fraggle, Gibraltar, Plymouth. My pet rocks remind me of all the times I got caught between a Dwayne Johnson and a hard place when someone bigger in size or power abused and bullied me like a colonizer dominating and exploiting a third world country. Today, someone slid into my DMs a deep thought-provoking meme which asked the question, if Earth is the third rock from the sun, doesn't that make every country a third world country? From country music to hip hop, rock star poets run the gamut. Imagination has no genre. Picture this. The Kenny Rogers gambler shuffling an Inspector deck while the radio plays. Johnny Cash rules everything around me. We, the people, exist on a plane of eclecticism, somewhere between Rock Me Amadeus and MC Light as a Rock. We be poeming polar opposites. One day we'll say, rock the boat, but don't tip the boat over. And in the next breath, we'll turn teenage arsonists, set the roof of the world on fire and express how we feel about it. Let the motherfucker burn. Baby, burn. Rock star poet, poeming pure fire, making the wheels in your brain turn until an exploding head emoji appears and all the light bulbs illuminating your halo spin like a rock steady breakdancer windmilling to a Pete Rock and CL Smooth track on the corner of Beach Street. I heard a beat poet howl. I heard a beat poet howl the N-word in a problematic poem appropriately titled America. And despite him being a rock star poet, I had no choice but to revoke Allen Ginsberg's posthumous invitation to Live at the Barbecue, a classic posse cut in which Nasir Jones, aka Nasty Nas, brags about going to hell for snuffing Jesus. A sin that's almost as bad as putting raisins in the potato salad. Rock star poets can be raisins in the sun or freaks who come out at night to toss salad. They can build bridges that lead to Harlem, the corner of 125th Street and Lexington Avenue, where you will see a guy wearing a red hoodie, and on the back it will read, "Let the bridges you burn light the way." Rock star poets are the light that Jesus spoke of before he got snuffed by Nas, the light at the end of the tunnel, which might actually be an oncoming train. Rock star poets are lyrics from Common song, The Light, a light that shines special for you and me.
Wow! I just had to do that, Emma. That was amazing.
Oh,
That was
am I
amazing.
done? Am I done, or do
No,
I?
you're good. You're good. You have more time. I
Okay.
couldn't help myself. That
Okay,
was
thank you. How much
incredible.
time do I have, just so I know?
You're good. You have about 10 minutes.
Okay. Why do we buy things online we don't need? I'll tell you why. Free shipping. There's something about things being free. I've been trying to get free all my life. It's easier for me to die, but I keep trying to be free. Give me Liberty Mutual or give me TurboTax. Whichever one is the one with the slogan, free, 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 free. Because that's how I need my shipping. Free, 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 free. Life is better with free. I don't even like to hold my audience captive. Give us free samples to taste, handed out by supermarket employees, served on crackers, pierced with toothpicks. I'll take some of those. I got taken in the other day. My online shopping cart got away from me. I chased it all around my screen from window to window. I intended to only be a browser, but then free shipping. I'm addicted to free shipping. So much so, I've built up a tolerance to Amazon Prime. Their free shipping doesn't get me high anymore. I need more free shipping. That's how I ended up on a website called Etsy, a place for people who buy anything as long as it includes free shipping. And I'm one of those people. I'll order stuff I don't need just to qualify for free shipping. I don't even do online shopping based on size, brand, or quality. I simply close my eyes, make a wish, and click on an item, hoping to open up and see free shipping. It wasn't until I received my digital receipt that I even realized what I purchased off Etsy. COVID-19 at-home tests with built-in do-it-yourself colonoscopy kit. Body butter made with real butter. The name of the product is, I can't believe it's body butter made with real butter. Make America Great Again, made in China, Negro League baseball caps. And the most shocking item, penis-shaped light switches. I don't need penis-shaped light switches. I don't even need light switches. But hey, free shipping. And I believe this will be my final poem. Thank you for having me. It's just an honor and a blessing. The beloved Toni Morrison once called up Nikki Giovanni, who hates having her sleep interrupted, and woke her out of a nice nap to ask, is it okay to be a full-time writer? I'm no Toni Morrison, but I too wonder, is it okay to be a full-time writer? Is it okay to neglect a God-given gift in the name of paying your bills? Damn it, Jim, I'm a writer, not a doctor. Although I can boldly go into my own pain and turn it into a poem that gives others healing, it feels quite therapeutic to say. Poems can possess commercial appeal, but poems can't be commercial. Poets are not God's gift to corporate America. They are put on earth to speak. Maya Angelou silenced herself almost 5 years, put her voice in a cage and didn't let it sing. There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. Zora Neale Hurston said it. People can be slave ships and shoes. I say, let my poets go. Let my poets be free like refreshments. Let my poets wear t-shirts that read, poetry is my superpower. By the power of Luke Cage converting to Judaism, sweet Hanukkah, let my poets go. Poets put on earth to speak truth to power, to speak the people's language, to speak for those who can't, to speak in public places about people who piss us off, to speak the words of Audre Lorde and the Wu-Tang Clan. Your silence will not protect your neck. But when you are gone, your silence will speak. It will speak volumes. Thank you.
Wow, Emma! I wish I could woohoo as loud as I possibly can, but like my downstairs neighbor, Dara Kalima, knows in the chat.
That's right. Katie gets in trouble.
Fantastic. I mean, of course you are, but those were such incredibly powerful poems. The wordplay was just awesome, and they were, as powerful as they were entertaining, and at times funny, and at times just really, really resonant and inspiring. Just incredible work, MA.
Funny and heartbreaking.
Yes.
I have a question though. Did I use because you said to use the full 25. Did I use it?
You almost did. You actually have 3 minutes left.
Okay, let's just do it.
Let's do it.
Let's end with a love poem.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Dairy Queen, can I be your Burger King? I mean, ever since you moved out of your mama's Waffle House, you've been living in that Pizza Hut. What you need to do is move into my White Castle, where we can spend hassle-free days out back in the Olive Garden, playing checkers and dominoes, and the glow of love will be basking. Robins will fly by in the sky as the sun sets. I'll take a moment to reflect. TGIF. Thank God I found this lovely gem on a scale of 1 to 710. You are 711. Oh, thank heaven I hop for joy at the thought of us hand in hand with gold wedding bands underneath golden arches. It's like I'm Fred Astaire and you're my Ginger Roy Rogers. I love it when you call me Big Papa John's. Word to Jimmy, you can pop eyes. You can pop eyes of the sockets that are glued to your body. It doesn't take a Johnny Rocket scientist to tell. That must be jelly. Because jam don't shake shack like that. And 4 out of 5 guys who never studied dentistry all agree. KFC don't be as finger licking good as you look. Good enough to eat. Let's go grab some Subway seats. Get off at the next wing stop. Find a Hard Rock Cafe where we can sit outside Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks coffee while having an intellectual conversation. I mean, a woman with a brain and Hooters. Wow, what a combination. We go together like salt and chipotle pepper, or Ossie Davis and Ruby Tuesdays. D, I need you to help me Boston market my poetry because you know how to think in and outside the Jack in the Box, and I bet I'll make your Krispy Kreme rise to the top. Instead of calling me Dennis, I will have you crying out, Denny.
Oh my God! That was awesome. That was awesomeness on top of awesomeness. That was the awesome cherry on top. Oh my God. That was so much fun.
Thank you for having me. It's been a blast.
Oh, MA,
Hey,
thank
MA,
you so
I got a
much.
question for you. MA,
Sure.
that little Hess thing back there, did you get that online? Was that free shipping?
Oh, No, that's a gift from a woman that actually I'm dedicating the that last fast food poem.
Nice.
I love it. Very nice. That was so good. Oh, it's just every single one of your poems, MA, just fantastic. Like I said, the wordplay, the power, the humor, just the interplay of everything was just so incredibly awesome and
Thank you.
so much fun, so moving. And everybody, I'm sure, is going to have a ton of questions for you in the chat. I have questions that I can't wait to ask. So once again, thank you so much for an incredible reading.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you in a few.
Oh my God, Chris! Oh my God!
Okay.
Well, our heads are
No.
already blown off by MA's awesome reading. And I know that Sharmont Influence Little is going to just rock our worlds as well. What an awesome, awesome reading by MA Dennis. And everybody out there, save your questions for
Yep.
Q&A. All right. Well, I am very excited to welcome up Sharmont Influence Little. Hey, Sharmont.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey.
How y'all doing?
Welcome,
All
welcome,
right.
welcome. We're so excited to have you on the show. How are you doing this evening?
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Just ready to rock.
Woo!
My man and May was hilarious with some of his poems, man. Shout out to you, brother. Salute. That was entertaining. I like that. That was what's up.
Totally. Chris, would you do the honor of sharing Sharmont's bio?
Absolutely. Sharmont Influence Little was born in New Haven, Connecticut. He has performed all over the U.S. in places such as the Lizard Lounge in Boston and the historic Nuyorican Ports Cafe in New York City. He has performed for the NAACP Image Awards in California and countless colleges. He's performed and taught in other countries like China and Germany via Zoom, and he's been a member and coach of the Connecticut Slam team, Verbal Slap, and is the current Connecticut Grand Slam champion. Influence has also taught to coach Yale University Poetry Slam teams. I have so many questions about that. His greatest accomplishment being an artist has been creating a curriculum that teaches coping skills, social skills, and conflict resolution, the art of spoken word. He's also a motivational speaker and the creator of the clothing line named after his LLC, Influence a Life, which has also provided consulting and spreads love by feeding families where there is a need. We're going to talk about that later too.
Awesome.
Sharmont
Influence Little, take it away.
Take it away.
Thank you. Oh man. Okay, so we're here for poetry, right? Everybody tuning in, thank you for tuning in. We're gonna go on a little bit of a roller coaster. If anyone has ever seen me before, there are going to be some poems tonight that you've never heard before. I'm going to actually read some poems. So I'm going to get into it. We're going to go from some older pieces to some newer pieces. We're going to go all over the spectrum of poetry. Okay, so let's see. This used to be my signature piece. It's also where this shirt has come from. I'm your friendly neighborhood poetry dealer. We'll talk about that later. Let's see if I can get it right. Here we go. I guess you can call me the greatest dealer of all time. I have you sniffing lines of 8x11s, 3 to 4 sheets at a time. So that brain numbing sensation you're getting is just the elevation of your mind. See, I remain on a slow grind, changing generations of cloudy minds, one venue at a time. See, I use buses, trains, and planes to move the most potent contraband in this game. See, I have you loving your family just on your first hit of me. More addictive than heroin, have your man testimony chain from this is my beautiful chick to this is my black woman. See, understand, I'm not the contraband the government wants in your hand. Because no matter how many times you recook me in your disc decks, I come back cooked to perfection time and time again. See, I'm that good stuff that Huey P. Newton said gonna help us win. That stuff that got mama sending you back out when you come home from your binge. That's why Western society hates a hustler like me. You see, I pimp your kids and have them turning tricks on literacy. Having young girls saying the hell with Kanye, we don't want D's, we flashing A's on them. By next summer, we going 2-step and walk it out with diplomas. Detox these teachers from No Child Left Behind and shooting up hypodermic needles. I'm going to teach them like he mine. Mine like pushing superior mathematics like speedball and main lines. As I take these young minds that are hooked on dreams and overdose them on raw reality, spoon feed them kilos of inspiration till they have the dope not on success. Strong arm the board of education till they start pushing my fat sacks of knowledge laced with determination. Because you see, I want to see panhandlers turn to men to handle strategic planning. Because to me, being a father to your baby is more economically sound than a quick fix for money. So I push fatherhood like fat packs of raw. Because to me, a baby daddy is short-lived like an 8-ball to a crackhead. So man, it's better said that I'm the only hustler you know that push $100,000 medic fork figures. Just so you can figure. When the beautiful sister fiends to be a professional, it don't matter what Wendy Williams say. She don't mean to give you all her brains. See, in this game, I've been known to create epidemics. The process is systemic. The movement is tedious. I got young girls coming to my venues to pass their first hit to the unborn fetus. See, I do this to be relentless. Like the CIA pushed Colombian Ye. Like Bush soldier hallucinogens on terrorism. I want to be that weed to correct your cataracts vision. I want to show you poor hoods turn to prosperous nations. I want to show you crackhead babies become positive manifestations. So do me a favor. When you start shaking and fiending, don't get scared. Just ease on down Riders Block. Hop that fence over to Spitfire Boulevard. I'll be posted. Come holler. I got what you want. I'm your friendly neighborhood poetry dealer. Peace. All right, that was one. Okay, so a great deal of who I am today has to do with my parents and my mom. And you're going to hear poems later about my dad, but please realize in my poetry, I praise my dad a lot, but my dad wouldn't be in my life if my mother didn't allow him to be. So, yeah. So this poem right here is a poem to my mother. God to me. My mother. My mother is baby, I love you, and boy, I will beat the black off you. My mother is long Jerry curl, look wet but no drip, an Afrocentric lock, stay twisted. She is no formal medical degree, but can nurse you back to health just from her kitchen cabinet. She is a stone face with the giving heart. She is multiple abusive relationships. She is, I'll drink my pain away. My mother is, I'm leaving this rehab early. There is no relapse in the blood of this Cherokee African queen. My mother is an alcoholic death and a self-resurrection. My mother is God, because only a woman like her can turn her pain into a home that felt like heaven. Who told me, baby, we may live in the ghetto, but we ain't nobody's footstool. See, my mother may have drunk herself into dehydration, but not one day did I go unnourished. The hell with water to wine. Try having a half a pack of hamburger and 3 eggs and feed an entire family. Nobody goes hungry. She is the blackest of pro-black women. She is, son, you will not disrespect your wife. I am your mother, but I am a woman first. I am she. My mother has been my greatest teacher, my greatest supporter, stronger than I can ever imagine to be. She is everything. To put it simply, my mother is God to me. Okay. So in that poem, right? So like I said, we're gonna go on a little journey. And within that poem, I talked about my mom being an alcoholic, right? But through that process, years later, I came up with this poem. My mom, just to let you know, my mom, I'm 47. My mother has been sober for 30 plus years. And that's a testament to her strength and who she is again, right? So here's another poem. Tap the bottle, 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 tap the bottle. I always wonder why there's a house of spirits in every corner in my hood, trying to be my your friend, Mr. or Mrs. Help me feel good. See, once upon a time, I tried to use Johnny as a walker, but everything I tried, I would black out and woke up bloody red. See, I didn't realize that Bud never made me wiser. It just made me call on my friend Henry that gave me a hypnotic specialty to turn me to the hawk sexually. See, that's right around the time I turned out Bloody Mary. And that pretty white Russian started sending me wild Irish roses and liquid cornfields that from my actions I felt so bad I rode the gray goose on a sabbatical to see if the truth really resides in the saint eyes. When I met him, he invited me to drown myself in the absolute truth that life is more like sex on the beach. But to me, it's like having a game bang with 10 different vodkas. So we walk around as inebriated zombies, looking to bury ourselves in local taverns or become the freaks of the night in slummy after hours. Yo, fellas, we're too busy chasing buttery nipples and pink panties, trying to get them to lay on our fuzzy navels while Mr. Belvedere serves us tea on Long Island. You see, we're caught between inebriation and realization, using classified downers to get us up so we can put it down. But the only thing we bring down is our self-respect, our self-esteem. So bartenders, can I get a nip of control? I mean, a shot of inspiration. Instead of chasing crisp styles, our styles and actions should be worthwhile. So our kids can stop jumping on the boat of Captain Morgan and jump on the rosters of Morehouse and Spelman. And remember, there's nothing about rum that's ever going to make you Jamaican. See, the only thing that should have my soul is the one that can save it. My life is like a martini. It should be slowly stirred, never shaken. So if we don't stop throwing our dreams in the sea, brims of despair, the only thing we're going to ever see shine is the southern moon. Poem. So going through my life, my mother found a new relationship when I was about 12 years old. And this man was everything to me. I have two poems for him, but I'm going to give you one that I found that no one has ever heard before. That's going into my book that I'm formulating, right? Since it's going to be in the book, I don't know if it's a good idea to read it, but I'm going to do it anyway. So if I if I happen to fumble, please excuse me. And it gets kind of emotional for me because he's no longer here. I lost him to lung cancer. A father. I understand now why you said, son, you'll be dead before you reach 18, and cried for over 10 years because I didn't go to college. I was the unmovable Mount Rushmore holding multiple faces, but not picking one as my real identity. So I rushed towards the dark side of insecurity, peeling away the reality of me like ripe fruit, leaving the decomposing trails behind, running circles on the same track, wondering why I keep slipping on my own bullshit. You filled me with Islamic and Christian groundings. Malcolm X and Dr. King had me prepared to walk in the light but protect the dark, realizing they were all me. As I imitated you working hard at a 9 to 5, you left way before 9 and came home way after 5, but the pennies always added up. Somehow you did it. Found balance in an unbalanced universe, making mistakes, kicking dust up on dirty trails. I can't judge you. I know what they were. You're still a king to me. Wealthy, but not possessing a king's ransom. You never held knowledge hostage from me, treated me like a prince, introduced me to the girl that I made my wife, laying the blueprint for my life, painting blue and neon lights on black trails, oil compositions, mixing frustration with adolescence, honesty and maturity. Held me to see that if I had $100,000 car and a $70,000 house, it really wasn't a wealthy worth. But education will be priceless. You preached open book critical thinking, and proper diction will be your key to survival. Self-knowledge became my first textbook. Before opening the textbook of European knowledge, so I had a first-class education before I ever sought after higher institutional learning, which rightfully so is called secondary education to what you taught me. Daddy, I hear you loudly. Let no man condemn you for your mistakes for an eternity. Heart split by uncertainty, despair on one side, hope on the other, trying to understand why God hold cancer in your body as you're condemning. Even in this today, I'd never seen the notion of give up or despair. Neither one held residence in your eyes, just optimism. As you helped me raise my babies, you created a legacy. Standing on the backs of martyrs and heroes, you are a living legend. Gave me a gangster swagger with a gentleman's touch. Taught me that courting a woman first will get you good loving, and treating her like a lady will make it last. I adhere to your lessons like biblical scriptures. You are the Father. I am the Son, not bound by blood, but a connected spirit. Call our relationship the Trinity. Greater is the God that is in He, like the Most High fortified your atoms with the nucleus of humanity. That's why you are who you are, a spiritual architect, bound by compasses and rulers. E equals MC squared. Your lifespan illuminates to show every dark situation has a cornerstone of bright righteousness. So I carry torches of compassion that cut my hand like razor blades, dripping DNA fortified with your lessons, leaving forensic results of profound evidence that Black men are the shit. Selfless heroes initiating truth. That we do raise our babies, educate communities, work consistently for more than 2 years, kiss the tears of our wives just to inhale their fears. See, you are the proof that Jesus is no longer on the cross because you walk in his light. Joseph, the biblical story reveals itself again. You fathered a son without indulging in the flesh of sin, so I want to tell you thank you. See the approval of who I have become within your sarcastic but honest grin. If I can be half the man you are, with half the strength, I will consider it to be a true blessing. So again, thank you for being a real brother, a role model, and most of all, thank you for being my father. Wow. Okay. So in that poem, I mentioned that he helped me raise my daughters. Like, to me, there's nothing in the world greater to me than being a father. A lot of my life changed when I had my first daughter 22 years ago, right? So this has been one of my slam poems that is a crowd favorite, and I do all over the place. And this one is called Daughters. You can also find this on YouTube. It's actually called Daddy. It's called Braiding Hair online. So. Brothers, when you have a daughter, braiding hair isn't just braiding hair. It's a process. Wash. Keep her thoughts clean to help bring up the danger for the world. Condition. To recondition her roots so she realizes she's not a black, broken, brittle piece of herself. Blow dry. Medium to low heat. Protect the history of her roots. Seal in your lessons. You see, this is a process because these lying relaxers will rip her from her culture like native tongues will rip from her mouth. You see, when men have daughters, we hear, you're going to reap what you sow. I mean, what goes around comes around. So I part their hair straight to continue the path of angels sleeping in the nappy-headed roots because equality can't be boxed in a box braid. So I grease up with black gospel verses, putting the Holy Ghost in my combs because ethnic roots are blessed with trials and tribulations. Like when white counselors told my daughter that she can only choose from community colleges. But universities show her the money with full-fledged educational scholarships. Braiding hair isn't just braiding hair. Style it with a spiritual connection, a beautiful three-strand trinity. Father, daughter, holy bond. Blessed be the shotgun for the prom date. This ain't just braiding hair. So I braid underhanded to hide my fears of black girl magic. Because black girls are vanishing just like black boys. They go missing like barrettes. When a Tamir Rice gets shot, everyone forgets about Rakia Boyd, Ayanna Jones, Sandra Bland. These women have fathers like me that will go into Walmart to grab period pillows, rags, sanitary napkins, tampons, and dare somebody to say something. They can catch these shea butter anointed hands. See, this is more than just braids and ponytails. These are open conversations like, Daddy, why can't I date him? Didn't you sell drugs? Like, Daddy, I think she wants to take me to the dance. This is more than just braiding hair. This is therapy. This is baby. I put the drugs away a long time ago because you're the only potent substance I wanted to handle. Is baby. You can choose whoever you want. Just remember that Daddy loves you. Because, baby girl, your path won't be easy. You can't be tender-headed. You got to be able to handle any style. Because this world will twist, lock you up, ban you into knots because they dread your existence. This is not about braiding your hair. It's about quality time, ending daddy issues, being your shoulder, but you not needing it, unapologetically independent and showing unconditional love when this world gives you conditions. So even when my hands cramp, I will wash, dry, part, grease, twist, and braid my life around yours, because it's always been about loving you and never been about braiding your hair. Poem. Whew. Okay. So going through that process, right? So raising my daughters, I had to find a job to where in the beginning, an artist doesn't really get paid, right? So the starving artist thing is real. So I ended up going to school and I ended up becoming a nurse. And if you're a poet, everything that your life involves ends up being a poem in some way, some form, right? So this poem came from me being a nurse. Okay.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with a black boy the other day, gunshot victim. He asked, "What makes a black man be a nurse?" I told him the last line of the nursing pledge reads, "I dedicate myself to the devoted services of human welfare." Well, I guess you black boys are the only humans because your welfare seems to be the only one at risk. As a nurse, I've seen more black boys die in hospital beds than I care to count. Have heard more mothers scream, "God help me," with the white voice in the room saying, "I did all I could." Do you know what a street beef smells like? It smells like the hot slugs cooking in a black boy's chest. Because I'm from a city that knocks down projects because the rubble makes better battlegrounds, turning black boys into green berets, playing in concrete jungles, moving like renegade soldiers, fighting for their big piece of poverty. Call it black on black civil war. Call it ethnic suicide. But black boy, you ain't no soldier. I seen how you die. Tears running, fist clenched in fear, body quivering like mama's little baby. I've seen bullets pulled from your ribs the way food is pulled from your teeth. Black boy, how can you digest death but you can't chew life? There's no honor in how you die. Body broken like bread, hands baptized in your blood. I've seen your purple heart on chill like the devil's coming for dinner. Black boy, don't you know what your blood looks like on white sheets? It looks like emasculation, mental conditioning. It looks like extermination. It looks like your blood knows how to die. Like mama stretched across caskets like American flags, folding herself into fetal triangles, delivering her tears to pillows, realizing she won't hang any more spangled banners for her stars. It's like my nursing degree has become a one-way ticket to watch you die, choking on bloody bullets over and over and over again. It has to be a sin. Black boy, it has to be a sin that you learn how to pull 9mm before you can even pull a 900 off your SATs. That I learned how to pull bullet fragments before I learned how to pull splinters. Black boy, we don't need no more GI bills. Aren't you tired of depositing bullets into your GI? Gastrointestinal tract, taking gut shots. Don't you know the devil's a glutton for a black boy's flesh? Because your flesh be beautiful. Your flesh be sacred, melanated Morse code. Your flesh be fuck failure. Black boy, you ask what makes a black man be a nurse when the overflow of self-hatred and blood tsunamis the emergency room, when hospital beds, gauze, and sutures no longer keep the dam from leaking. I say you, black boy, I became a nurse hoping my hands would be your Teflon second chance, because the only shots I ever want you to take are the ones at greatness. Yes. Okay. So if you guys hear any background noise I have, I'm a family guy, right? And I have almost my entire family around. So I have my whole family around. So excuse me if you hear any little background noise or what have you. So this poem here is kind of about my anger and stuff around Black History Month and how I look at it. So here we go. I'm going to read this as well. I never wanted to write a Black history poem. Narrative is always his story. Ignored how our melanin is the reason everyone wants to jump in the melting pot we built. Cast iron, black as night, season, want us to cook our souls, add the lie, smooth out the truth, so they don't choke on the lumps that they made, make it palatable, easy to digest, so everyone can dine on our nightmares of our American dream? Why do you think our kids cringe at the sound of Black history? They're tired of being thrusted into PTSD, tired of being told about slavery, when their reality is a book bag search away from being beat or killed. Black history is our kids making it home after surviving white America. I never wanted to write a Black history poem, maybe because we always been wealthy. Way before they were poking holes in Africa, they were poking holes in Africans, always wanted to test the Black gold against their teeth, always knew we were a commodity, but never gave good credit. We've invented everything from paper to gas masks, but they continue to write laws to keep us from breathing, from home security systems to traffic lights, while they continue to steal our culture and refuse to hit the brakes. I never wanted to write a Black history poem, even though it sounds as sweet as Billie Holiday, as beautiful as Lena Horne, and move with the grace of Raven Wilkinson. That's why I write the hell out of these Black poems, like talking about how our kids went from stacking and crip walking to walking through stacks of cryptocurrency, called unprofessional. But these Black poems no longer make a profession out of accepting racism's microaggression. These poems are written in prose and parables to prepare you that even though we're crucified, there are Black messiahs that sit at the head of tables, creating seats for more of our people than ever before. These Black poems won't emphasize genocide, but cultivate the genius we have inside. These Black poems will tell our boys that they're more Mansa Musa than they are poor Black boy. These Black poems will tell them that your dreams only seem a world away because your mother womb is the universe and you've always been a star. See, I never wanted to write a Black history poem because I write these Black poems to be Black poems, just to be Black poems, because I love all of my Black people. Poem. So I've made my career in everything off of being a slam poet, right? I got my name noticed, my clothing line, everything that they talked about in my bio was based off me winning slams and things of that nature, right? But slam isn't for everyone, and slam can be traumatic, right? So this was my poem when I kind of retired from slam. This is the poem that I wrote. It's relatively short, but this is what I wrote. And again, it's not memorized, so excuse me if I stumble. To any poet that has been told that you need to spit that pain, that trauma to win a slam, tell me, when has lying on a bed of nails with someone pushing on your chest ever felt good? When has ripping a wound open with your teeth ever taste like fresh pineapples? Forcing you to relieve your own trauma, slamming your emotions against a wall of silence, like bringing a lamb brought to slaughter, even ever felt like relief? Felt anything like a cool drink of water, like I'm going to survive? In fact, it may just speak to the narrative of your suicide. Never read your own eulogy to survive the next round of a slam. Just as I'm just now trading places with the poem that buried me on a national stage. The poem about my father's death to cancer had me crying myself into a desert, had me looking broken on stage. How does it feel to be a part of a poet's safari? To see a poet wounded in his own habitat, to see he still got a 28.9 after the penalty. How does it feel to say he's a dope poet while he's overdosing on raw emotion? Slam isn't supposed to be a public suicide. Sometimes uncut pain is a debilitating muse. Just because you lace the page, remember, it doesn't mean that you have to bless the stage. So that was that one. How much time do I got?
Wow! Sharmont, you have like 1 minute left, but we would love to hear one more if you've got one.
Yeah, know what? I'm gonna do the same thing as MAD. I'm gonna end with a love poem, and then all right. Now I hope I remember this, because this is what I do with my wife, and it's like I messed this up real quick. You should have never need to ask how deep my love is for you. Because no matter how much of a prolific poet I become, my word can never describe how I wish my soul would melt into you. How I'm truly in love with who you are, but the thoughts of who you will become makes my spine tingle. As my heart let your wisdom guide me on a path to completeness while I'm completing your sentences, as if God has fused our minds and got our vocal cords on the same path. So when I speak, I glorify your name just a tad bit less than his, with a full understanding that loving you is spiritual. Because baby, your smile. Even your smile is so inspiring. It's like God spoke the book of Psalms to my soul through your lips. So me even thinking of touching them in a lustful way has become my greatest sin. So baby girl, you can rest assured, before my lips touch yours, it will hold the same faith and compassion when God made heaven. Because I can fully understand why he made your skin feel as soft as silk. So when I wrap myself into you, I will emerge from your cocoon a better man. See, I can never leave you behind because you're my right hand. But some try to describe you as the sun within my galaxy, but you're so much more deeper than that. You intrigue every part of you intrigue every part of my mental capacity. In fact, you are my infinite destiny. If I had to give you a letter grade between A and Z, it would have to be an I, because you're my inspiration. Out of all the poems that I've written, this has become my greatest creation, like it was birthed from my ribs. See, this is a godly manifestation, a gift. So I profess my unconditional love and devotion to you. So our love can be the sands of time, never withering thin. Then I can spend my life and not my reincarnation, just showing you how much I love you over and over and over and over again. Because you're more than just my queen. You see, you're my devotion for living. It's like I'm baptized in joyful tears. I'm Daniel in the lions den, defeating your fears, elated by the fact that you walk with the grace and pride of Mother Africa. As your education speak echoes of Timbuktu, which explains why I feel adored, educated, and nurtured by you. Ask me how much I love you. Girl, I adore you. I want to explore our relationship like Enoch did the 10 layers of heaven, just so God can send me back to show the rest of the world what the face of true love is. So I'm so sorry if I never told you how much you really mean to me. You have to realize I was caught up in beautiful you. Just want to be part of simple me. And if anyone ever asks, I will always tell them that you are the reason for true loving. Thank you.
We love Sharmont, influence little people. What an incredibly powerful reading. Just incredibly powerful stuff. Powerful, heartbreaking, inspiring. I'm crying over here at the ode to your mom, to your dad, and very much cheering for your love for your wife. And I just absolutely love that the nurse poem, just incredibly powerful. Everything, Sharmont, you and MA just like blew our heads off, rocked our world. And the audience, you're gonna have to go on Facebook, YouTube. We never see the comments on Twitter, but like hop on there. Just so much love in the chat for both of you.
Thank you. It was fun. It was a pleasure.
Yes,
thank you, and everybody. Yeah, put your questions in the chat, because I mean, I'm expecting many questions.
Yes.
Either that or people are intimidated because
of the awesomeness, the awesomeness factor.
Yeah.
All right, Sharmont, you were absolutely incredible. We're going to welcome up MA and get into our Q&A. One more round of applause for both of our incredible readers that are poets, MA Dennis and Sharmont. Oh, you are both so absolutely incredible. You've got to hop into, Facebook and YouTube. I think almost everybody's on Facebook in the comments, at least. You're just absolutely incredible, both of you. There are so many questions. Everybody get your questions into the chat. Chris,
that's my mom walking behind me right now.
Is that Mom?
Hey, Mom.
You're amazing, Mom. We love Sharmont.
I love this. I love this family, poetry reading kind of a vibe, you know.
We had a lovely little one in a cute little hat running
I know.
by a moment ago.
All you could see was a hat walking back and forth.
Too cute. And you got a little hug over there from that little one as well.
Yes.
Anyhow, we're gonna kick it off. Chris, we have a famous first question. That's kind of a massive first question. Chris, will you do the honors?
Yeah, we'll start with MA and then we'll move over to Sharmont. But so you guys, how has being a poet, being someone who writes words and performs them, how has that changed your life?
It's a huge question.
MA, let's start with
this. Man, Chris, you don't play any games. You just
we'll right to it.
oh man, were you like a writer for 60 minutes or something? Because all I can tell you about words for me is that I remember I was years ago I was listening to if you heard of this guy named Steve Harvey, right? So
of course.
But I used to listen to his radio show, and I remember one time he was talking about your calling, like, right? Like, what is your gift? This was what he was talking about. He was like, what is your gift? And he said this definition that it just really struck a chord in my soul. And he said that your gift is the thing that you do best with the least amount of effort. The thing that you do best with the least amount of effort. And all my life, words, before I even knew, things about like calling something poetry or whatever, words were the only thing that just came naturally to me, the thing that I did best with the least amount of effort. And I can remember back in like elementary school, when they used to give you the tests. Well, I remember getting in trouble in elementary school because we had to write an essay about going to the White House, and I had wrote something about if I went to the White House, I was going to paint it black. Yeah. This was like fifth grade, and my mother had to come up. Yeah, it was a different time. It was a different time. She had to come up. They had to have a conference about it.
Oh my God!
That was
an A+.
Yeah, that was very like they thought I was an anarchist, just because I wanted to get the pen job. But then I also remember like when I started getting those standardized tests, like in junior high school, and they give you the little blue booklet to do your essay in.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I remember getting mad, like, because they tell you, pencil down, this part of the thing. I was like, no, man, I got to finish this. This story is good. Like, I got to finish it. So that's my answer as far as just what words have meant to me. They just, life is so confusing, and words are the only things that kind of make sense to me. And that's one of the things that's great about them. They have the world to make sense, as much as it can make.
Right from day one, that was what you were doing. It's like, all right, I need to talk about this. I need to write about this. I need to use my imagination. I need to say something important. I love that, MA.
But awesome. MA, did at that time when you were writing in that little blue book, or doing that essay, did you consciously think I'm a writer, or did it, because it's like you hear about like comedians or whatever, they're funny, they're cracking people up, but they don't think, oh, I'm a comedian until like when did that hit you? Like, I'm a writer.
That's the crazy thing. You kind of jumped the gun again on me, Chris, because I've been working on that question, like that question about like when did you know that you were a writer? I still haven't have my defining moment yet, but I would say back then I didn't. It just, as I said, it just felt natural, like breathing, right?
Right.
So, but one thing, had a thought that came to me. One of the things, I didn't know it as writing in, but I also know that if I have to do something really important, like if I had to be on trial, right, and I had to, like, my life, right, I had to give a statement. I would I feel I'd have a better chance of surviving if I could
Yeah.
write. Oh, no, that's how I think.
No, I
Let
agree.
me write. If I can write it down, I feel like I can really communicate at my best.
That's
That's
it.
awesome.
That's
So-
what when I was in school. I hated tests. Like
No, you fine.
any kind of test. But if it was just an essay or something that you had to write, then I felt like, oh, I can do this.
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love how you described that, MA, that it's just such a pure form of communication and expression. I love it. And Sharmont, how has writing changed your life? It's a massive question. It's really unfair.
Well, there's layers there's layers to mine. So
Totally.
the first time I was in school, and for me, when I started writing in the schools that I went to, like, you got into fights because you was soft, you was a punk, if you wrote poetry, what I'm saying, they would call you gay, different stuff like that. If you wrote poetry, right? So because like I said about my dad was real big on, we didn't go outside Monday through Friday. So he had us in the house. We were reading books and dictionaries and stuff like that. And so we only went out really pretty much on the weekends, right? So I started when I was young, and then I stopped. It fell off, and then I started writing again because in my early 20s, at that time I didn't know what it was. I guess it might have been depression, but I thought about committing suicide, and I was going to jump off of West Haven Pier. And the funny thing about that is I'm a certified lifeguard. I probably wouldn't have drowned, thank God. but
there's a poem in there,
right? But
Yes.
in that despair, the only thing that made me get off of the pier at that time was a poem, and I went back to my car and I started writing. And then I laid it down again, and then later my brother was in college, and now I'm playing Big Brother. I'm going to his dorm room, going through his drawers and stuff like that, make sure ain't nothing like playing Big Brother. And I find this poem book in his sock drawer, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, he write poetry too, and that started me again. But now the way it's changed my life now is younger, I didn't know what my value was. Poetry has given me value, has given me meaning, purpose. I was the heavyset kid that always got picked on. Now I'm the heavyset kid on stage that people pay to listen to. So it's done a whole lot for me. It's provided for my family. I've been able to create my LLC and the workshops and the clothing line and mentorships and coaching Yale, and so it's changed my life in so many different ways.
That is so incredible. That is so incredible, Sharmont. Both of you just have these incredible stories about how writing a poetry have changed your life. Thank you so much for sharing all that. And we popped your website into the chat, Sharmont. So we definitely want people to head over there. I need to head over there and get myself some poetry shirts. I love what you described to me before. I can't wait to check it out myself.
Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I have a lot of questions, but we have a question from Dara Kalima in the chat. And so Dara shared a whole bunch of awesome comments during your reading. You'll have to check that out. But she's asking, what made you both decide to retire from slamming, and do you miss it? MA and then Sharmont.
Okay. Well, before I even answer the question, I definitely want to just thank Dara for being in the chat, because you already know, Katie and Chris, I like to be in that chat.
Yes.
Influence, you were saying some lines, like especially during the hair braiding poem and the nurse poem, which I did actually hear you before. Funny thing, I'll share this. I actually judged a poem, a slam that Influence was in. I don't know.
No way.
Yeah. And he did win that slam. So the thing is, it's interesting because I'm like Michael Jordan, and I don't say that in a boastful way. I'm just saying it's like I'm retired, but then I actually did do a slam a couple of weeks ago, which I was fortunate enough to win. But because I won, I think I'm going to retire again immediately because
That's what I would do.
because here's the question. Like, this is the thing. This is my answer to Dara. Anytime something becomes a competition, I do not like to lose. You know, I come from a very athletic background, you know, playing sports and stuff. So that's just the way my brain is hardwired. So, you know, when they say like lines to you, like, you know, it's not everybody's a winner and, you know,
You're like, no, it's not.
yeah, right. Yeah, it's like I agree with you. If as long as I win, I'm in total agreement with you. Yes, everybody's a winner, you know. But so that's the thing, and Influence's poem like really resonated with me, that last one, because I've had many traumatic moments, especially if you're someone that like you commuting, you go somewhere to a slam, and like it's a 3-hour commute going home, and you poured your heart out, and somebody gave you a 6.9, and you know, listen, it's not for everybody. Like you really got to have.
You poured your heart out, and someone gave you a 6.9. That hurts. That hurts.
No, it hurts. You know, I compare it a lot to like being like a major league pitcher. It's like you have to, if you give up a home run or something, you got to immediately get it out your mind, and that's not how my mind works. My mind loves to hang on to stuff, and like, so yeah. So I am retired officially.
Yeah. Oh, that's so interesting. Thank you so much for sharing, MA. What about you, Sharmont?
Well, for me, there's a couple of reasons why I stopped. First of all, I mentor a lot of poets in the Connecticut area now, and they are, and a lot of them are itching just to beat me.
Get
out of there.
And so, although I love them to death, and they are getting really good, you're not gonna make your career for saying I beat Influence. That's not
I'm glad you went there, because that's part of it too. That's part of it.
But the other part of it is that really, honestly, I want to get more behind the scenes. So I want to be able, especially in New Haven, in the New Haven area.
Yes.
I visit Jersey a lot. My cousin Queen, she's from Newark, and she's up there doing a lot of things. But I want to open up poetry, all the performances that I've had all over the world, and where I'm bringing it here. So like I'm bringing opportunities here. I have a show that I'm doing June 3rd that is called the R&B and Poetry Experience, where I'm bringing R&B singers and poetry together in a really, really nice hotel to perform, and bringing those kind of shows here. So my biggest thing is I want to be behind the scene and providing spaces for poets to be able to perform, and teaching them what it is to be a professional as far as knowing your worth and getting paid for what you do and things of that nature, you know. So I just want to teach. Simple.
I love that. Sure about that. I mean, you both have just these incredibly wonderful and important reasons, you know, for retiring, and it's so great to learn more about you. We wish you and your students and the best of luck, and excited about these events, Sharmont. And we love to hear that this stuff is happening just right here. We would love to help you promote any of that. Send it over to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I have a follow-up question for both of you, because, you know, you've made your mark as performance poets, right? I mean, you've won all kinds of contests and poetry slams and this and that and the other now, and you're still writing. I assume you're still writing poetry. You know what I mean? So you haven't stopped writing poetry.
Oh, not at all.
So how does that shift now? Is it like going to be like, okay, now I'm going to do books, and then or publish poetry on the page in literary magazines or whatever? And how does that, is there
performances that are like non-slam performances?
Yeah, I mean, is there like a shift in like how you approach the poetry if you're not going to be doing the slams, or is it just the same thing?
Not for me. The first thing I tell my students is that you don't write for the slam, you write for you. and
Yes.
it just so happens to be fit for slam, or just so happens to, that's the basis. I mean, yeah, you have to put the tricks and everything in it, the metaphors, the similes, the double entendres. I mean, you have to put the show value into it, but that's how I regularly write. I don't write for slams typically. I write for me, and it just so happens to fit in slam. The mind thing, it does shift for me, because when I'm in competition, it's like it's a light flitch. Like my wife sees me as a different person when I go into a slam. Like my whole attitude change, and like I'm focused and stuff like that. Because contrary to popular opinion, slam it's for everybody and it's fun, but it's a competition. I came there to win. There's $1,000 sitting up there in that closet. I'm going home with it. Like, it's like I got bills to pay when I get home.
That's right.
So it's like an athlete, like before the game, and then when you walk onto the field or the court or whatever, it's like boom, zone.
Right. Like you write for you, but this performance it has many goals. And it has one very specific one.
and one last thing, you said something previously about when we know we were a writer. That really didn't click for me, because I never thought my poems were good enough to put on a page. Out of all the poems that I've written, out of all the accolades that I've gotten, people have been asking me to write books for years. And I just started this year putting my poems together and going through them, because I never felt my poems were good enough to be in a book.
Oh no.
So,
well, yeah, I mean, to me, that sounds crazy. I mean, I know where you're coming from, because that's it's inside your head. You don't believe that, because it's always been this kind of poem.
I want that book.
Right?
I want the performance and the book.
And MA, are you doing the same thing? Are you putting things together?
Well, I transitioned out of slam for several years ago, and actually, I have lots of poems published in various anthologies. Actually, recently, I've been trying to do more. Like I just had 2 short stories that my last 2 publishing credits. Those were short stories. So,
Awesome.
I've always marketed myself as a chameleon, because the MA actually stands for many attitudes of Dennis, and I'm telling you, like, from the moment that I started publicly performing, I mean, I've had people call me a rapper, a stand-up comedian. Like my shtick runs the
I love that
full repertoire, so but I definitely want to actually do that. That is where my mindset is at now, like trying to be more focused on literary stuff and stuff that's published, because I like the permanence of having stuff on paper and published by other people, because I agree with influence. Like, that was the thing that was most important for me, that poetry did for me. Like, it gave value as far as people validating, like, you're good, like we want you to be a feature, we want to publish your work. And then the pinnacle was when they started paying me money, good money.
Wow. We wish we could.
Yeah, well, listen, listen,
if we get some money up in here, we're gonna be paying everybody.
You and Chris do pay, all payments are not necessarily monetary.
Aww.
So, no, the love, I mean, the reason the kind of shows that I really like to do is I like to do shows where I know the hosts, the people, they really are lovers of the word, that's there's a lot of value in that. People that just really want to hear what you have to say.
Totally.
Yes. But sometimes that money thing, you get it out the way, because I love shows where after the conversation, you can tell me more than one line of my poem. You know, and a lot of times that's in spaces like these, whether it's here or in person. Like, you know, one of the greatest feelings I ever had was in Baltimore, Maryland, and I was spitting, right? I was doing my poem and somebody threw a pen at me. Well, I'm from New Haven. We about to fight. Like I had no idea what that meant, but up in Baltimore, that's a ode to you. That's credit to you. Like, here, take my pen. Like,
That's so cool.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So I mean that. Yeah. So, but yeah, the money thing is great, but there are venues that you like. Okay, let's get this out the way so we can go ahead and get to the
totally. Hopefully, hey, listen, I like if I get written, if I win, if I make it to my next publication, you better believe it. We're gonna be paying everyone as soon as we can. We will. But no, I hear you, Sharmont. We do this for the love of it, and one of the most amazing things you could get is just some really incredibly encouraging compliments. And you know, we have such a wonderful community of people who just build up all the time, and we try and give that love straight back always. We're so blessed by both you have to know the audience tonight was just loving your work, throwing emojis out there, putting quotes, and sharing some great comments. So you'll have to check that out, especially on Facebook, a little bit on YouTube as well, if I can see here in the comments. But we have to get to our famous last double question, and I'm thinking, Chris, that instead of maybe a book recommendation or a poet, like a performer recommendation or a slam recommendation. Listen, book publishing isn't everything. It's awesome, and I want both your books if you ever have one, or as soon as it happens. But like, performances are everything too. You know, there are so many venues for poetry. So I think, you know, we have this last double question where we ask for a pearl of wisdom for poets, for writers, just one pearl of wisdom that you would love to share. And then we ask for a book recommendation if you have one, or if you have a poet recommendation, a wonderful poet that you love, a slam poet that you love, that you'd love to share with us tonight. That's what we'd love to hear: a pearl and a recommendation.
M.A. Dennis.
Well,
I know it's
I'll do the pearl first.
Cool.
Yep.
So I did another show today, earlier in the afternoon.
My God.
And I'm the kind of poet when I'm always taking notes. Like I'm observing everything that's going on, and that's in part to my my journalistic training. So I'm always observant. So the host of the evening, her name is Joelle Morrison. She's a wonderful storyteller. She's returning from some health problems, right? It was actually a couple of months ago she couldn't even walk. So she needed help, like someone had to help her get up when she wanted to, you know, come to introduce the next person. And this was what she said. It was a poem to me, but she doesn't know that it's a poem. She said, "I just have trouble getting up. But once I'm up, I'm up." I'm going to say it one more time. Because she had just struggled to get up out of her seat. And as she was walking to introduce the next person, she kind of said this apologetically, right? She said, "I just have trouble getting up. But once I'm up, I'm up." And that really struck a chord with me. So that's my pearl of wisdom. You may have trouble getting up, but just get up, because once you're up.
Yes. I love that, M.A. Thank you so much. We'll pop back to you for the recommendation.
Okay.
Sharmont, you have a pearl ready?
Basically, the pearl is always be honest in your poetry.
Yes.
When you become a performer, you have to know what your audience is. But when you're sitting in a room by yourself writing your poetry, the only audience is you. The only person you have to answer to is you. the questions, the love, the anger, the joy, everything has to come through you. And the other gem is always read. Like your imagination.
Yes,
Your
yes.
imagination expands when you read, and you'll find your poetry becomes better the more that you read and the different types of things that you read.
I love it. I love it. Fabulous pearls from both of you. We love them. Back to you. You have a recommendation, book recommendation, performer recommendation, slam poem recommendation.
I do, because I have a stack of poetry books here that I was using as a stand. So I'm actually going to recommend this one poet, and actually, like Dara Kalima, he's from the Bronx.
Woo!
And when I read his work, it was just something about it that I just love his poems. But this particular poet, his name is E. Ethelbert Miller.
Oh,
nice.
Right. And then so this is a book of his collected poems. But
Awesome.
yeah, I just read some of his poems, and they was just like, they really spoke to me.
Awesome.
Sometimes you just got to find the poet that speaks to you.
Yeah. Absolutely, MA. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Sharmont, a recommendation?
Okay, so my first recommendation is a book by my mentor. He the one who, before Amiri Baraka passed away, he introduced me to Amiri Baraka. He introduced me and brought me to Abi O'Doon's house. He's done so much. His name is Ngoma Hill.
Awesome.
And his book is his book is called I Didn't Come Here to Tap Dance. So again, he's also an excellent performer. The man plays like 30 different instruments, from the didgeridoo to the yadaki, to a bunch of other different things. But this man has been instrumental just watching him, and then little pointers that he's given me throughout the year. And then one other book is my dad's favorite book. It's called The Farrakhan Factor.
Yes.
And it's a book about African American writers, leadership, and nationhood, right? One more thing, a poet that I will put out there is my little sister. Her name is D True Poetry. She created a whole Poetry Matters situation. She's really big on TikTok. She won't be hard to find. She goes by D True Poetry, DEE True Poetry.
True Poetry. Nice. We would please, if you have anybody you would recommend for the stream, any local people for in person, we would love to meet your friends, your recommendations, and if we were not already in touch with them.
I have a recommendation. She's already, you featured her before. You know about her. I just want to mention Dara. Dara, full disclosure, she's my best friend, right? And
oh my
God. She actually got me the Hess trucks, Chris.
Oh my God!
That was a Christmas gift. Yeah. She's my best friend. She buys me Hess trucks for Christmas. She lets me use her Paramount Plus account. So I want to recommend, because I want to recommend two things. Dara, she's gotten me into Star Trek now, so she introduced me to this show called Discovery. Star Trek Discovery, and it's one of the few shows that actually has a powerful Black woman lead. So that would be my recommendation if you want something to stream. And I also want to recommend Dara, but not for her poetry, even though she's a great poet. I want to recommend her. She has a wonderful podcast called On Behalf of, with the community poet Dara Kalima. So I think if you just go on YouTube and you just type in Dara Kalima, the community poet, well, she'll put it in the chat. But she has some wonderful.
We're huge Dara fans here.
The reason I love her podcast is because she's always brought on guests that I would never expect. I remember she had a show about a guy who was a travel enthusiast, and I was like, wow, that's a great thing. So I use his little tips now when I'm trying to book trips and stuff. So check her podcast out.
We love that. Thank you so much. both of you. Everybody, one more round of applause for M.A. Dennis and Sharmont Influence. What a just totally fabulous evening of readings. And it was so wonderful to get to chat with you just now. Thank you so much for spending the evening with us. Thank you so much to our audience. It was just such an incredible evening, Chris, right?
Beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you, M.A. Thank you, Sharmont.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, everybody have a great
sounded
night
great.
and see you next week with Taqwa Sharif.
Who's Taqwa Sharif and Shannon Clark will be in.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Good night.